Have you ever heard something so bizarre, so wildly unbelievable, that your brain just goes, okay, no way that's real? But history doesn't care. History loves chaos. History loves to look us directly in the face and whisper, oh, it's real, and it's way weirder than you think. Today, we're diving into 5 historical facts so strange. They sound like rejected movie plots, but every single one of them actually happened. Grab a drink, sit back, and prepare to rethink how normal the past really was. Because honestly, people back then were unhinged in ways that are almost impressive. Let's start with a story that proves emperors probably needed HR departments. Fact number 1, the time Rome declared war on the ocean. Yes, the ocean, not pirates, not ships, not some enemy fleet. The literal physical body of water. So let's set the scene. It's around 40 AD. Emperor Caligula, famous for being, well, not super stable, believes the sea god Neptune has offended him. Maybe the tide was too high that day. Maybe he stepped on a shell. History doesn't tell us. Caligula marches his army to the shoreline in full formation. The soldiers are confused. The officers are confused. Even the waves are probably confused. And then Caligula gives the order, attack. The Roman army charges the water, swords out, shields raised, sand everywhere. When the battle was won, which is impressive since the ocean didn't fight back, Caligula ordered his troops to collect seashells as their war trophies. Imagine being one of those soldiers writing home, "Dear family, today we conquered moisture." Caligula then paraded these seashells around Rome as spoils of the war against Neptune. Rome must have been exhausted pretending this was normal. Now let's jump forward about 1900 years to a war even stranger. Fact number 2, Australia once lost a war to giant birds. In 1932, Australian farmers had a serious problem. Emus, those tall, goofy, fast-running birds, were invading farmland and destroying crops. The government responded with a decision that feels like someone said it as a joke, but then it somehow made it into official paperwork. Send in the military. Armed soldiers with machine guns were deployed to fight birds, and the emus outsmarted everyone. They ran too fast to shoot. They zigzagged like Olympic athletes. They broke into groups and flanked the soldiers like tiny feathered tacticians. After weeks of trying, the military gave up. Australia had officially lost a war to emus. Honestly, respect. Now we're moving to one of the most unbelievable events ever caught on camera. Fact number 3, the exploding whale of Oregon. In 1970, a dead whale washed up on a beach in Oregon. It was huge. It smelled terrible, and nobody knew what to do with it. Then came an idea that could only have been invented in the 70s. Let's blow it up. Officials used a half-ton of dynamite. A crowd gathered to watch, because of course they did. They detonated it, and instantly regretted everything. Huge chunks of whale rained down from the sky. People ran for cover. Cars were destroyed. One guy's brand new car was completely flattened by airborne whale. Oregon learned an important lesson that day. When in doubt, maybe don't use explosives. Okay, so far we've had emperors fighting waves, armies fighting birds, and states fighting whales. Let's move to something darker. Fact number 4, the Banana Massacre. This one sounds fake because of the name alone, but the event behind it was deadly serious. In 1928, workers in Colombia went on strike against the United Fruit Company, the company that later inspired the term Banana Republic. Tensions rose, the government intervened, and then tragedy struck. Armed forces opened fire on the workers. The event became so infamous that Gabriel Garcia Marquez wove a version of it into 100 Years of Solitude. This is one of those moments where history feels almost surreal, but it's real, and it shaped the entire region. Let's lighten the mood before we all spiral. Our final story is chaotic, but in a more theatrical way. Fact number 5, the Canadian city that staged a fake Nazi invasion. In 1943, Winnipeg wanted to raise money for the war effort, so they created a full-scale simulation of Canada being invaded. Actors dressed as Nazi soldiers marched through the streets. They arrested politicians. They took over buildings. They even printed fake German currency. The city was transformed into an alternate reality. Just for a day, it terrified people, but also raised tons of money. Honestly, it was the most dramatic fundraiser in Canadian history. So, those were 5 absolutely real moments from history that sound completely fake. If you love weird stories that make reality feel optional, hit that subscribe button. We dive into the strange, the unbelievable, and the things you definitely never learned in school. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.